But men, right? Men see a baddie, we think like, I'm gonna get her pregnant. That's what men think when they see a baddie.
You gamed me.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Just a Girl Show. My name is Jenny, and if you are new here, if you're new to the channel, of course, hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on so you never miss an episode. And if you are a subscriber, welcome back to the channel. So I'm back with another reaction style video. I hope you guys are enjoying the longer form videos and, still getting the substance that I like to deliver with my content. I always want to make it somewhat educational, and I always provide solutions, whether those hear it or not, or want to receive them or not. But y'all know my focus is on the women and how we as women, we can be very gullible, we can be very naive, and we just be stuck on stupid, especially when it comes to having sex with the man. Like, that's why I think it's so important for us to try to delay having sex with someone as long as you can, so that way you can see what's happening, what's going on. But we live in a world where everything is about fast money, instant gratification, wanting to be famous, wanting the fame, the spotlight, all of that. And I think that because women have adapted this mentality, and that's the world that we live in, you see women who are getting themselves in situations that they probably wouldn't be in if they were to live more in a reality base, logical base, without having emotions kind of misconstrued with your heart and what your vagina is saying, right? So with that being said, Evelyn Lozada, we know that she is a reality TV star from Basketball Wives. She dated a basketball player back in the day. I can't think of his name. She was married briefly to Chad Ochocinco, and she has a baby by a baseball player, or former baseball player, Carl Crawford, I think is his name. I'm not into sports, y'all, so I apologize. And Antoine Walker was her first. Antoine Walker was the first man. I think she was engaged to him, maybe, but they weren't married. So she has a daughter, though. Her daughter is 32 years old. This is her daughter that she had, obviously, when she was very young. And her dad is somebody from, growing up as a child. So obviously her daughter has seen her mother in the spotlight, and, they've lived, a certain lifestyle once she got into the industry of men. And it's kind of like, it's hard for a child to see that and go a complete different way, especially when your mom is technically still single. These relationships have never really worked out. I think she was engaged to Carl Crawford. I believe they were engaged, but they never got married. She was only technically married to Chad Ochocinco. So I think you see this from your mom, and it's like, how do I go the other way, right? Especially depending upon, we know that these mothers don't try to steer their daughters the wrong way. They will still tell them or lead them to believe that this life is okay, knowing that it was hard for me, knowing that it's caused me a lot of stress, a lot of drama, a bunch of kids that, out of wedlock, just a lot of those things. But again, when we are chasing money and fame and trying to stay relevant, not saying that this is what Evelyn's intentions are, but if I want to stay relevant, for me, my daughter can keep me relevant by who she's with, right? So her podcast, Drop the Low, she sat down with Shanice Has a Baby with The Game. And The Game is 46 years old. She's 32 years old. So there's a 14-year age gap. There's a lot of rumors going around about, Evelyn was friends with his baby mama, and how could she date her mom's friend, and like just all of that. But today we want to talk about just how much of bird brains we are as women, and also how these men be playing games, but I also think that we be so naive and so stuck on stupid that you allow him to do that. Okay, so let's get right on into it.
A big bone to pick with you.
Okay.
How did you make me a grandmother before 50?
How
did that happen, Jay?
I knew.
It was 49.
Yeah,
it was before 50. Technically,
I knew you were in the crunch. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to hit you with that, so that by the time you're 60 years old, you have a whole like fifth, sixth grader. I didn't want to wait, any longer, because who knows? We're getting old.
Well, you made Welly a grandmother at like 38.
She was 38. I did make my mom was a grandmother at 38.
Oh, well, so there it is.
Because I had Shanice so young, but all I know is that I didn't know how to process the information.
It happened very quickly.
Yeah, like I didn't know how to like process it, right? Like Shaw tells me she's pregnant. Obviously, we have a great private conversation. And I had to sit with it for a little while because I'm like, I'm gonna be a grandmother. Like this is weird, you know. Like I know I'm 50.
Well, and you've never been a grandmother yet, so I know you were like, what does that look like for me?
What does that look like? Like what? Well, like first of all, what is she having? What is it gonna look like? What is this gonna be? How is my life gonna change? I thought about Leo. He's a young uncle. I thought about so many things. Then when obviously she told me that you were the dad, I was like, oh shit.
Oh, we in trouble now.
We in trouble now. But I will tell you, I've had people ask me this. They're like, well, how did you feel when you found...
Let's pause there, right? So y'all heard her say what she was thinking. What is this going to be like? How my life going to change? What? Okay, how's my life going to change? What about my son? What about, you know, because she has a younger son who is, you know, a young uncle. But the question was never about marriage. She didn't come out and say that she thought that, like, once you know that she's pregnant, and again, the thing that makes it interesting is she said, I found out that you are the dad. Also, I guess you and your mom aren't discussing who you're dating, because why do you find out that it's the dad, is him? Makes me believe that y'all don't, you did you keep this a secret from your mom because you knew that how your mom might feel about you being with him? Because that can also be that, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do because that's what women do. And if I go to my mom and tell her who I'm dating, she might give me advice that I don't want to hear, which makes me, as I'm listening to this now, is going to all make sense as to you chose to make this decision with this person, because I've already, you know, if she's saying once I knew that it was you, and saying that I didn't know that you were messing with him, or maybe you were messing with multiple people, and you know, but there was no thought of marriage, commitment. What she done about the gender, how, like, just superficial things about what's the gender going to be, how my life going to change, my son being an uncle. But what about how you bringing this child into the world?
Found out that he was the dad, like how, like what? And my initial feeling was I was shocked, but then I found so much. I found so much peace, and I know how you love your kids, and I know how you parent your kids. And I said to myself, you know what? He's a great dad. You know, he's a great dad. And so I found a lot of comfort in that. And now that we've been doing the family thing for some time, I'm like, I couldn't even see my life without Blaze.
Yeah.
So grateful that you're in our lives, because I feel like, you know, you and I, like, well, you know, whenever I need advice, I'm doing something, the podcast, whatever, like, you know, it's been good. Like it flows, you know. We've had a few bumps in the road. Yeah, Shaw's looking like, I mean, but I'm talking about us.
Yeah, and you know,
I also think it's interesting because, again, the focus is just on the baby, right? Like, and I get the mothers be so excited, but it's so much focus on, you know, once I found that how much you love your kids, I realize that you're a good dad. But what about a good man to my daughter? What about you being a good man to my daughter? Did you think about that? So all you thought about was, I mean, I guess at that point, it is what it is. You're already pregnant by him. So I got to focus on my grandbaby, I guess, at that point. But that's the problem, that what about the type of man this is for my daughter? What are you doing with this man? What are y'all going to be? How, you know what I'm saying? Like that focus ain't about her, which is important. Which again, as we know, we are not raising our daughters to be wives. We're just not. We're not raising them to be able to pick men, good men. Stop leading with our vaginas and letting money control your decision making. Even he said that she got pregnant really quick. You just out here, again, it's the game. So I get it. You, again, obviously being in the limelight, obviously, you know, she's the information states that she was around him when she was younger, but she was still an adult. So let's give her like 19, 20. You could have been a fan of him and just he was your crush. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But it's the idea that we don't require anything. And y'all gonna see what I mean by we don't require nothing. Men can tell us anything, especially a man of status. He can tell you the moon is black with sparkles on it, and sometimes it turns pink at times, and sometimes it has. A man can tell us anything when it comes to a man with fame. These women will let you tell. Men can tell women anything nowadays. The crazy part is the problem is that men can tell women anything. He can tell you this. He can tell you that the sky is freaking green, and you know it's blue. But because he got money and he got fame, you're gonna be like, yeah, the sky must be. I guess it is green. Because again, you didn't tell your mom beforehand who you're dating that you with him. I'm assuming, or again, are you? I don't know. It's interesting.
In all transparency, like that's how it should be. Anything that just goes through like smoothly straight with no bumps, like you can't grow from that. You can't learn anything from that. And if everything's smooth, somebody's hiding something. They're not being their 100% of their authentic self. One of my first questions to her was, did you tell your mom? Right.
I think even that comment right there from a grown behind man with what he got about 4 kids, you talking about everything is smooth, something is wrong. We're promoting toxicity. So families have a healthy, we think about the child. We don't have to make it difficult. But this idea, because that's all you've known, I'm assuming that I'm saying if something is smooth, then there's something wrong. That you can't have a good, healthy co-parenting family dynamic without something crazy, because that's how we learn. You can learn from things and it not have to be toxic. You just don't. It doesn't have to be that way.
I was like, did you tell your mom? And she was like, well, I'm gonna just wait a little bit, And so I guess she waited a little bit and then she told you. Yeah. And then I was like, did you tell your dad? And she was like, no, I'm gonna wait a little bit. But the thing about when she told me, I was shocked a little bit. Like literally, I was shocked. And we got into this, thing. Like I love being a dad, right? Like I absolutely love being a dad. But I was shocked to shit. And I don't think it was the reaction that Sha wanted. So she cried a little bit. And it was uncomfortable for her and for me. I didn't want to make her cry. I just was like, I didn't know what to say because.
So this is my thing, right? We as adults, right? I think when you are having sex without any protection, you're not on birth control. That's that's the odds of what happens. There's a very high chance you can get pregnant, right? So again, him saying that he was shocked, okay, which I think is normal, right? Somebody's like, I'm pregnant. It's like, what? Huh? Right? And obviously her crying, because I'm sure it wasn't. Let's just throw out possibilities of what he could have said. Like, are you keeping it? What we gonna do? Those are things that can make a woman be like, what do you mean am I keeping it? What do you mean what are we gonna do? Right? Because it's making me feel like you're saying that you don't want this baby. Right? So I understand that side of how a woman can be emotional and she can start to cry because we have this fairy tale way of how we see. I come home and say, honey, I'm pregnant. And they're like, yay. Like that's not the reality unless you are actively planning to have a child with your partner. Unless you're actively planning that, there's going to be some shock. Right. And I'm saying it's different definitely when it's much quicker, it's not much substance. We just, I don't know, like we together, and we just, so I think there's definitely some layer of like, oh man. So I think for him to acknowledge that and be honest about it, I'm, in public say that it wasn't reaction that she wanted, because but again, y'all gonna see how wild this whole thing is.
I hadn't had a kid in 14 years. So I was like super shocked. She had never had a kid. So of course she was super shocked. But when she found out, she kind of got to live with it a little bit. You know, like I didn't know as soon as she knew. So she lived with it a little bit, processed it. And then once it got to me, she had already like, you know, kind of lived with it a little bit. So I was super shocked. She cried a little bit. I was really thrown out to the wayside about that because I didn't want to make her feel like I wasn't excited or I wasn't going to love the situation, because I absolutely love my children. But we got around that, and obviously he's here and he's beautiful and throwing shit across the house. And yeah, he's just a great kid. And then for her being Blaze's mom, like, oh my God, like a gift to a child.
This is like a typical situation, right? It's very common. Like this is a very, very common situation that is too common, right? That we see amongst us as women. It's so common that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like you sitting with it for a while, even that there's something in you that you sat with that for a while before you actually told your partner. Because again, I think you probably knew that he might not, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, right? I think when you are truly and we really know we want this, I'm telling you the first day I took the test, or but when you already think probably she knew, damn, he might, I don't know,
Sorry, but I feel like you manifested Blaze.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning another child before I got pregnant.
Yeah, true.
Like you manifested Blaze. Yeah. On our first date, you were talking about a Blaze, not him exactly.
Yeah.
But you were talking about a Blaze. So you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think that.
So there we go. This is the meat of the video, right? We had to get to this point, right? So she says she feel like he manifested the child. I want us to just stop with that. Like, yes, there's manifestation, but no, y'all had sex, no protection, and he got you pregnant. That was that. That's as plain and simple. And I think when we are so delusional as women and so in our own head that you getting pregnant is like, wow, he manifested this and this is meant to be. No, he just got you pregnant because y'all were having raw sex, period. And on that first date, he talked about having another child. That was just to get to have sex with you. If he probably wasn't already having sex with you, I don't know. But I'm assume first date, I take you out, let's go out, and I'm telling my, yeah, I'm gonna have a baby. Oh my God, I can't wait to have more kids. I just want to have sex. I know you're 32, you ain't got no kids. I just want to have sex. I'm telling you what you want to hear. So again, I think her point is, you sitting here saying that you shocked. I'm confused why you shocked me. I was confused why you were shocked because you manifested Blaze is the name of the child on our first date. So because we as women, we're in so like infatuation with celebrities and men with money that you thought it was a term of endearment that he wanted to have a baby. I would be like, sir, what? That's creepy. You don't even know me. Like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to trap me? Like, what are you doing? What are we talking about? But because we being so like our own like bubble of infatuation of stupidity that you let this man get you pregnant, and it made sense because, oh wow, this is the manifestation of what he was talking about.
And we
talked about kids.
Yeah, true. But just so you guys know, because you guys are beautiful women, you guys are still like women, right? But men, right? Men see a baddie, we think like, I'm gonna get her pregnant. That's what men think when they see a baddie.
You gamed me.
You gamed me.
I'm just asking.
Hey, I'm just saying, when a man really sees a woman that like is that he likes and it's a baddie, that be our first thought. Like we be thinking like, damn, like I would have a baby by that. So yeah, I'm manifested. I'm manifested.
What man? Like he said, men who see a baddie says, oh, I want to get her pregnant. I want to have a baby by her. Just be honest, game, and say, I just want to have sex with her. Nobody's out here saying I want to have a baby by her. And I'm a celebrity. I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby by her and get all my money taken from me. Who says that? Even for you at 40, when he met her, at 44 years old, 2 years ago, you're saying that you thought, you're really saying that you really thought that way. This is how men think. This is how, and this is what I'm talking about. These are the women that women love. They love these type of men, but the men he don't care about her. He didn't care. He wanted to have sex with you. And I told you whatever I need to tell you to get you in my bed. And we just happen to have a baby out of the situation. Whereas you, the woman, is believing it. We talked about kids. Yeah, I'm telling you whatever I want to hear. I'm 44 years old at the time, probably. I got a 14-year-old. I mean, I'm just talking. And somebody like him, I can just talk. I could say whatever I want to say because I do it all the time. You just happen to take me more serious than the next other woman. But it's like, game, you sit here sounding crazy. But if it worked, it worked.
Yeah, game manifested,
So let's also make that very clear. Game and manifesting are not the same thing. She said, you gamed me. Basically, you played me. You lied to me. And he says manifesting game is the same thing. It's not the same thing. And I think it's interesting that Evelyn sat there and said nothing. Like nothing. You're her mom. And you just sitting there giggling. You said nothing to make this a teachable moment of like, wow, like, so you don't see how that could be wrong. You don't see how that could be a problem. You don't see you don't see anything at all wrong with that. Nothing at all wrong with that.
Go ahead, Shaw.
What was the question? To learn about men?
Yeah, like what have you learned? Because co-parenting sometimes, I mean, obviously, it's not easy. Co-parenting with someone's not easy, no matter what the situation is.
We had a few months of like fire with fire,
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saying that you didn't give me enough grace, because I do agree with you. And I think a lot of my anger came from you not delivering what the expectations were.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that there. But
AKA, what I believe from what we've heard is that expectations, I thought we were going to have a family. All I let you do is tell me that. That's the crazy part about it. This is why I'm having this conversation, is that all he has to do is say it. I want a family. We're going to be a family, with nothing aligning with that. Your track record don't say that. Your history now don't say that. And because you didn't keep the expectations that I thought would have been, this is just my assumption, I don't know for sure, it's something that I think leads to those lines of, from based on what he said about talking about having kids. She probably thought it was going to be different with her, different than his, because he was engaged before. He's never actually been married, but he was engaged before to his last, his two youngest kids' mother. And you thinking it's going to be different with me, right? He older. He's changed. He's not so caught up in the fame as much as in the spotlight as he used to be. So I think he's going to be different with me. And because you didn't give me that, I'm mad, which I get it. But this is why we have to stop letting men tell us anything without any action behind it. No matter how much money he has, no matter who he is, you got to think that he's more prone to lie and more prone to just be who he is because of his fame, and his access to so many women. But because you're like, oh, he said he wanted to be a family, he want to have a baby, you like, okay, let's have a baby. Girl, what? And I want to show y'all just how much you can tell that their relationship started off on some BS with no substance of conversation. Let me show y'all that.
Are you surprised that they weaponized the fact that you two had a baby against me on the show? Like, I had a feeling it would happen, but like, how did you feel about that? Because
they called you a felon.
Yeah. I mean, true.
Are you a felon?
I am. So I don't.
How you got a baby by this man? Y'all talk about having kids, a family, And you sitting on the show talking about, you a felon? You are? You are? What was y'all talking about? Now, I'm not saying you go sit there and say, hey, how many felons do you have? No, I'm not saying that, but when we start talking about getting to know each other, where do you come from? Where have I come from? You tend to tell someone about when you're telling your story, and it leads to things that you like. It might be like, yeah, I grew up in LA, it was rough. I might have been doing, just getting involved in the streets. My parents wasn't here. This and that happened. I got locked up when I was this age. Like you're gonna just start telling these things if I'm trying to get to if I'm trying to share with you because you're trying to get to know me. But if we only talk about, so what was it like being on tour? What was it like working with 50 Cent? What was it like, like we talking about this stuff that you can really, like, it has nothing to do with you and him or a child. But because we be so gullible and so you sit here don't know that this man is a felon, and you got a whole baby with this man. This is the reality of these women, y'all, of how they don't know what be going on.
Again, I don't feel slighted by someone trying to like throw like my past at me. Yeah, I'm a felon. My mama know I'm a felon. My kids know I'm a felon. My fans know I'm a felon, and that's just what it is. I don't try to.
So how would everybody else know but you?
Duck.
And crazy part is, I'm gonna say this as well. If you had told your mama that this was your man, if she didn't truly know, you would know that he's a felon.
Who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Am I in jail? Absolutely not. Made some mistakes in the past. Yes, I have. I was young, a little misguided. My father died a long time ago. Even when he was alive, I didn't really lean on him for advice the way I should have, the way my children can to me. So yeah, I made some mistakes. I'm not like one of those who's going to hide or, mask my face because I have a fear of somebody being judgmental about who I was at one point in time in my life. What I do know for a fact is anybody that's speaking my name, right, will not say that if they see me, because one or two things. Number one, I am a felon. And number two, I'm gonna get off in your ass in person. Like, I'm gonna get off in your ass. So you're not gonna even come at me like that. So do it for the show, do it on the internet. It's all cute. It's all cool. I can't really snatch my TV off the wall and break it across my knee because I'm mad at you. But when I see you in person, and one day I will, have that same energy. It's all that I ask. I'm not doing the back and forth on the internet. And 10 out of 10 times, when people see me in person, they don't have the same energy. So cool. Have at it.
Yeah.
How many felonies do you have?
Oh,
Blaze is going to ask one day.
Yeah.
So.
I think like on record, 2 on record.
She says, how many do you have? And Blaze is going to want to know someday. So again, the child is already here. The baby is already here. You didn't think to ask any of these questions before you got pregnant. But now you, like, why would your son just one day be like, Dad, are you a felon? You should be, like, this is what I'm talking about. Women, we lead with our vaginas, and our vaginas fail us every single time. Your vagina fails you every single time that you got gamed by the game. Period. And this is the reality for many women who we can sit there and say, the man, he lied to us. Yes, he did, but you allowed it because you were so stupid and so dumb that you pretend like you didn't see what was going on because you so infatuated. You care more about the fame and the cars and the lifestyle and the red carpet that you ain't even knowing, paying attention to what this man is really saying and what he's really doing. But again, these are just my thoughts. This is just my opinion. I wanted to share this with y'all so y'all can hear and see the reality of what's happening, what's really happening. Okay. But let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments. Drop it down below. Share what you think. Hit that thumbs up and enjoy the conversation. Of course, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.